Hello. My name is Mandakini. I am the Michigan 1 resident for Kalamazoo First. That means I work with the young adults and the youth of the church for the duration of this year. I'm also the co-chair for this event, the Big Deal Weekend. When I was asked to explain my why of why I'm doing this, I froze. I hadn't really thought of why I would be involved. It just felt like it was already a part of me. For such an easy, predictable question, I was stopped in my tracks, and I started thinking, why this event? Why did I agree to lead it? Why does it matter to me? I thought back to Pastor Matt and I's very first supervision meeting when he asked me to name my values. I had no idea what he meant. So I arbitrarily named education, advocacy, representation, and love. He asked if those were my values, like if they were always my values, and I laughed because they didn't mean that much to me at the time. Funny enough now, they're what I consistently go back to again and again when I think of why I do something. Is it educational? Am I advocating for the right people? Are we representative of all the people who need to be in the room? And is it out of love that I'm doing this? And that led me to my answer for the Big Deal Weekend. I'm doing this because of my values. Because I see the value in educating our congregation to racism experience in and outside of the church. Because I see the need to advocate for the BIPOC community, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, when it comes to elevating voices of vulnerable populations. Because when I was a brown girl in a white church growing up, no one looked like me. The pastor didn't look like me, the congregation didn't look like me, the speakers didn't look like me, singers didn't look like me, and the people and the stories in the Bible presented by a white man didn't sound like me. All of these things in the worship experience, the small elements, echoed back to me this repetitive message that I wasn't white, therefore I'm less in my identity and deserve less of Jesus' love. And that brings me to my last value, love. Because God loves all people, and so do we. I truly believe in the community effort of the work that has been put into this weekend by the reconciliation team, by the conference, and I hope you take the opportunity to learn why it's so important to look at ourselves, our identity, how we present as a church, and how our anti-racist identity and Christian discipleship intersect.
Good morning at First United Methodist Church of Kalamazoo. How are you? Great. That is so good to hear. In case you don't remember me, my name is Kathryn Sappington. I was the Global Mission Fellow at Kalamazoo First UMC 2 years ago, starting 2 years ago. I just wrapped up my time and have been in seminary. And so I'm coming to you today to talk a little bit about this new event that you might have heard some murmurings about. And so to talk about that, I have to think back to whenever I first arrived in Kalamazoo. And when I first arrived in Kalamazoo, I was definitely not in the place that I am now. I was given this fun driving tour, and on the side of this big, beautiful Gothic building church, there was this beautiful sign with a beautiful rainbow flag that said, "God loves all, so do we." And I was excited to find out what that meant. And I did. I found out exactly what that meant. And I think that is such a beautiful representation of what God intended for the world to be. Does that mean we have it all figured out? Absolutely not. And it is because we don't have it all figured out that we're doing this event, that we're doing the Big Deal Weekend. This weekend will be full of opportunities for education and advocacy in Kalamazoo, in your backyard, figuratively speaking. That'd be a little weird. But this is an opportunity for us to gather together and start to dive into this anti-racism work together, so that we can build the world so that we can build our worlds into more of what God intended for them to be, because God intended for this world to be big and beautiful and colorful and wonderful, and we're not there yet. And we need to get there. It is time to be there. And so this weekend is a weekend of starting that. So I pray that you will join me and my friends in this weekend. Registration starts today, and I cannot wait to be together with you all starting this work and this journey. Hope to see you there.